Yeah. There we go. What's up, Mildevet Tribe? Hey, this is
Cheers.
Chris, and got Megan, and Yogi is he's already doing something else instead of hanging out with us. So so we had some technical difficulties. So if you tried to join us through the normal link, yeah, it's all askew. We had some technical issues, so we are on this form right here. So if you see us on the live and you want to come on and hang out with us, just hit us up in the comments, and I'll send you a link to the live stream. Megan,
Mm-hmm.
so tell us a little bit about HumanWorks and what it does for the veteran community, if you don't mind.
Sure. Yeah. So, HumanWorks Foundation was started back in 2015, and 2017 I came on board. It's actually my family's nonprofit. So my dad started it originally to help with the workforce development in the HVAC and refrigeration world. Although I grew up in the construction industry but I'm not a technician. So when I came on board in 2017, most of my experience was in the fashion and beauty industry. I wanted to change. So I did come back into the construction world. And then I also entered the nonprofit world, which was a complete and utter shock from the fashion world. And so throughout my journey of being in the nonprofit world since 2017, I found a love and passion for wanting to help both the veteran and the reentry community. And so I'm the vice chair of the Orange County Veterans and Military Families Collaborative. So very connected within the veteran community within Orange County. And so, we help connect veterans to different resources that they need. Also, I consider myself an entrepreneur. So we also have a entrepreneur program. I call it the Vetrepreneur program. And so helping veterans get connected to the resources that they need in order to either start their business or start doing contracting. So becoming a DVBE, so a disabled business veteran business enterprise. Sorry, I'm like, I guess I've only had a couple sips of my wine, but I guess I can't speak today, so I apologize.
Hey, cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
There we go.
Ding.
Cheers.
And then also, just kind of play off the business side of things. We also have a spotlight program. So that helps either veteran nonprofits or business, small veteran businesses help with flyers or different marketing material, just kind of help them with that. I got my, Chris, we were talking about this offline. My degree is actually in communications and advertising. So I love marketing, advertising. I was going to go in the advertising world, but I was like, hey, I was going to take a pay cut from what I was doing before. And I was like, that didn't really make sense to me.
Yeah.
So
that's
how I support the veteran community.
It's pretty awesome because HumanWorks does so much for veterans, and it's not just these resources that you offer, but it's like having that person that has the experiences that you have to be in your corner is so awesome. And I know you've been helping Milda Vet with some of the projects that we're coming up with, which we're going to be announcing a pretty awesome project here pretty soon, guys. So hold on, we're going to a little bit later.
Yeah.
But it's been just awesome to have you on here to it's really important to have somebody just to kind of talk to and learn from, and be there in your corner. It's not always about maybe like that resource that they're going to put in your hand, but just kind of that sounding board. So
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I really enjoy helping veterans, and specifically helping veterans like achieve their dreams and whatever that is. And especially um, within the like business entrepreneurship world, it's just like you said, having a sounding board. And I may not necessarily have all the knowledge for that specific industry, but maybe I have, just some outsider knowledge of when it comes to marketing and advertising, and being able to help someone better craft their message and to communicate the services or what they're selling, right? So that's what I really enjoy doing.
yeah, the so let's talk about, maybe talk a little bit about like your dad. What was it like being um, Navy dependent, living, or not Navy dependent, Marine dependent? Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
technically, he was Department of the Navy. I just want to get that straight. His ID
Oh
card
gosh.
said Department of the Navy on there.
So I actually was at the dentist today. I had one side of my mouth done, the right side of my mouth done last week, and then I have the left side of my mouth done the week before. And he actually was in a Marine. He was a Marine reservist, like my dad. And my brother's in the Navy. So, by the way, my brother wanted to go in the Marines first, and they rejected him. So then he went in as an officer in the Navy, right? So let's get this straight. Marine's daughter, but brothers in the Navy. Um, and then also have, my great uncle was in the Navy, and my grandfather was in the Navy, and my other grandfather was in the Army. So long line of different, military service. I just don't like being told what to wear, which was the issue. I didn't go into the military or law enforcement or anything like that. But so growing up, like, it wasn't like my dad was never deployed. Like I said, he was in the reservists, but we very much had a very structured life. And so my dad was my mom was actually more of the strict one and provided more of the structure, but my dad reinforced that. But it was always like, making sure we were on time, and things like that. So um and my dad would always kind of talk about like just what it meant to be able to be a Marine, because you're always a Marine, to be a veteran, and just how important it is to serve your country, and what an honor it is, and that not everyone has that ability to be able to serve, and how that also that also helped him in his journey with his Christianity, with his faith, and giving back to the community. And so I would say that between his veteran service, and with his faith and the community service that he did, and also my mom with a lot of the community service that she did, that was it made a big impact on me as an individual, and what has driven me to do not just what I do within the veteran community, but also the reentry community with helping youth.
So, what's your what what's your fondest memory of traveling around the world, or what's your, like, seeing your dad come home in uniform? What was your fondest memory from your childhood with your dad serving?
So I would say that I was actually, I don't remember my dad actually ever coming home in uniform. But I will say that I regularly remember, because my brother, as an adult, right? So my brother's currently serving in the Navy. He's deployed overseas, so he's in Naples. So I've seen him, in uniform. I've seen, heard him, like, prior to being stationed in Naples, he was in Bahrain. And so, just kind of the different, struggles that he dealt with being disconnected from his family and his friends, and having to rebuild every time that he was deployed and create like a new healthy network. That impacted me more, especially being connected to the veteran community, having kind
Yeah.
of like a first firsthand connection, like within my family to that.
Yeah. So my kids, I have 8-year-old and a 9-year-old, and they are. Oh, Yogi wants back in. So they are.
Now you just want to butt in on our parade? Jeez, Yogi.
Yeah, he just wants to butt
Whoa,
in.
easy. No
just-
need for this hostility.
Yeah, he just wants to come in here and take all the glory. But anyways, so my daughter and my son, they got to go to Japan. They got to go overseas and see a whole entire different aspect in the military. And
I feel cheated. What the hell? I feel cheated.
Yeah.
I didn't get to have that.
Right. but before that, they never knew any moves or anything like that because I kept getting stationed in the same place, same geographical place. But it was not from me not trying to get other places. And the transition for them, transitioning from being a military kid to having their dad all the time, it's totally different. Like for them, they are like, dad's always around.
I'm sure they love it.
Oh, they absolutely love it. I think the hardest part is me, because I went from not being around kids at all to all of a sudden being around.
Are you Mr. Mom?
I am Mr. Mom. I'm not very good at it.
He's the house husband. Let's get it clear. He's the house husband.
And I'm not housebroken.
He's learning to be the good house husband. It just takes practice and time. But most of
I
it,
want a
confidence.
house husband. What the hell?
Find yourself a Marine or a sailor that's about to retire.
No.
There you go.
Let's stick with the sailors. We're better products.
Well, just like what I was saying earlier, the Marines, they have the Department of the Navy next to them. Okay. Just instead of like the little, the doctor at the MEP station, it's the same 80, 90-year-old doctor that everybody else had and all the different MEPs. I'm not sure if you remember your doctor at MEPs, but mine was like 90 years old. And everybody I asked was like, hey, was your MEPS doctor super old? And they're all like, yeah, how'd you know? But this doctor had a can of candy, 2 of them. And one was,
he was at the
regular
wrong place.
Wrong candy. Okay, hold on, listen to me. Hold on. Bear with me. Was regular candy, butterscotch. And then the other one was the Crayolas. So whoever picked the Crayolas.
I was going to say chewing tobacco.
No, Crayolas, because that's what determined if you're a Marine or not.
Oh, my dad's going to have a real problem with this.
Well, I hope some Marines join us, because if you guys want to come on the show, hang out with us, we're just some veterans and veteran ambassadors here, just hanging out, trying to make a difference. Honestly, that's all that we're here to do, is make a difference in veterans and transitioning service members. That's all we're trying to do here. Bro, we have did you see last week's episode that we released? Man, what a great episode, man. What a great episode.
I caught some clips of it, but yeah.
Yeah. It's good to have all these different perspectives. And I think we're definitely, last time I checked, we're over 100 episodes released. We're over 100 now.
To our audience out there, please, if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, anything that you want us to address, please let us know. Be involved. We want you to be part of this. We don't just want you to be a passenger listening to just chat. We want to hear your insights, your stories, your experiences.
Yeah.
Because that's what actually makes us be able to share and relate with what's going on.
Yeah. I mean, these episodes right here, they're kind of a feeder to what we're going to cover in future episodes, because the things that we're dealing with today is the things that we want to bring up. For example, today last night I was asked by a veteran who's going through his PAC Act. he actually developed some lung respiratory issues, burn pits and all that
I was
stuff.
about to say. Hmm.
Yeah, so the burn pits, he actually now is being diagnosed with some respiratory diseases, which is really unfortunate. But the PAC Act is actually allowing him to possibly file a claim to get even further on the VA disability. And he used this program that took his first 3 payments of his disability pay. And he told me, he's like, look, I wasn't getting any disability at the time. So I paid somebody to do that. And I have a real issue with the whole entire paying for your benefits. So I told him, like, look, you could go find one of those veteran organizations that are going to take your money, but they're
Hmm.
not a VSO. VSOs are completely free to veterans to file their claim. And you just have to do a little bit of research. You could go onto the VA's website right now and find the VSO's directory. In fact, maybe that's what I'll show during this
Well, I
live
was about
stream.
to say, like with the VSO office, it really depends on where you're living because in the proximity, right? But
Yes.
my understanding is, and correct me if I'm wrong, kind of what I'm hearing is that the VSO's offices are now not restricted within like the counties, that you can kind of reach out to whatever VSO office that you want to. I think it's like within the state, maybe. And they'll be able to assist you, that they no longer have that you have to live, like reside, have a mailing address or whatever within that area. Is that correct?
Yes and no.
Okay.
So if you know a VSO that you've known forever and they are willing to coach you and guide you through the process, that is an option.
Hmm.
However, you might be missing out on statewide benefits, and that's why they wanted to be state state local, so that you're able to have that kind of resource at hand. Um, but that part of giving you the advice, it's kind of that way. Now, going back a little bit to what Chris was saying, and something that I want to add to that, uh, right now, the Department of Veterans Affairs, especially with the budgets and with what with everything that's going on, they're screening a lot more the claims.
Hmm.
And at the end of the day, if you're paying a company to help you with the process, that company, all they're doing is they're taking money out of your pocket. And
Yeah.
if they give you the wrong advice, the only person that is going to be in trouble or receive any kind of consequences, especially the negative ones, is going to be you.
Hmm.
Um, so that they make that very clear, and that's why they make it extremely clear that the VSO is the only person that is authorized to give you the advice, because those are the only ones that have been trained to properly do it, right? Any organization that they claim to be a lawyer, or they claim to be any other coach that is not a VSO, they're giving you possible advice that can get you into legal trouble.
So also, like they usually have, whenever you sign up for different services and things like that, you have to sign like a release form. So I'm sure that that's in that legal jargon, and whatever form that you're having to fill out, you think, hey, because I'm going to pay for it, I'm going to get a better service, and then that may not always be the case. So it my understanding is that the VSO's office have gotten better about answering claims and being more responsive in a timely manner. And so, you know, being able to kind of trust the process, which I know is kind of hard, especially if you don't trust government, or if you feel like you've been, impacted in any way by the government. So it's just kind of like trust the process, call, follow up before paying for these services, because that's exactly what you are doing. You're paying for a service, but it may not actually be giving you the best information possible. Is that what I'm hearing, Yogi?
That is correct. And with also that, right? You kind of touched on something that refreshed my memory. It's the VSOs have also somewhat of a direct line to the
The
VA
VA.
to actually be able to see and talk about your case and intervene and have more of an impact versus someone that's predatory that is just hoping to increase you increase your rating by doing everything anyways, right? And then they'll take some of your hard-earned money, right? I know, and I speak with, and I'm speaking with a lot of veterans that have chosen or were thinking about doing it. Um, and the biggest thing that they want, the biggest thing that they want to have is, well, I just want to have peace of mind. I just want to do it, and I just want to move forward. I just want to be done. I don't want to do it again. That can be very, very difficult and very, very dangerous.
Well, it sounds like it's kind of basically doing like or needing that instant gratification that our
Right.
society needs today. So instead of waiting, right, because they need to wait, that they're just like, hey, well, I think if I pay for this service that it's going to happen faster, which may not actually be the case because my understanding is that these paid services don't have the same amount of access to the VA, whereas the VSO office has better access to the VA system and being able to help you, like, guide you through that government process because they are a government agency, so they have a better idea of how to navigate that process, whereas a private company, unless you get someone that's a little bit more seasoned, right, they're going to be able to help you navigate that because they technically are a government agency. So they're an arm of it. So they can kind of hopefully help manage your expectations. Whereas
Correct.
someone from a private, organization is just going to tell you what they think you want to hear, not actually what is like what's actually going to happen.
Right. And at the end of the day, it's when you talk to people. Fortunately for us, we're having this experience over and over and over, right? When
Mm-hmm.
you talk to both sides of the coin, whether you're talking to a VSO or you're talking through a veteran that went through it, or you're talking to somebody that actually paid for someone, they tell you that the only thing that really matters is what and how you communicate your concerns to the VA. Part of it documented. Part of it is whenever you go to the actual um, meetings, to your doctor's VA ratings, um, and if you're not able to communicate what this agency is asking you to claim, or if you're claiming something that is not part of that, um, it will backfire a lot of the time, especially right now that they're looking for substance versus just um, someone submitting a claim.
Yeah. No, and a lot of people will say, well, it's a barrier for me to go to the DAV or go to the VFW or all that. And this is the thing I got to say is, yes, it may seem like it's taking a little bit longer. Oh, guys, I'm sorry if I'm typing too loud. I just saw your comment. Yeah, sorry. What the thing is like you guys see me looking off screen and stuff like that. That means I'm moderating at the same time. I'm sharing it and all that stuff. So, um, if you hear me typing or something like that, I apologize. I'll get a
And
little bit
to
better.
be
Mike,
correct, it's not you guys, it's everyone here in this room.
Yeah, because I'm a female. So
Exactly.
just kidding.
sorry, I don't see a gender.
You want to be PC, right? Not saying we have to be PC here.
I'm not very
Because
PC.
that's okay. You know what? Being in the nonprofit space, I had to learn not to say you guys, even though the majority of those that I serve are all men, whether
Yeah.
they're veterans or like the reentry population. So I'm used to always like saying, "Hey, you guys," and then there might be like two females, right, in the room, and I'm like, "Oh." So it took me.
But
So if I
it's
want to
so
put on
dumb.
my cowboy hat and be like, "Y'all," or "Everyone."
Okay, so I understand like people may get upset at it, but honestly, you got to be kind of you. So what I do is I actually have a new saying. Well, it's not new. I've actually been doing it for a very long time. But I typically in a crowd will go, "What's up, Warriors?" Because it is just straight across the board. But whenever I'm dealing with civilian population, I can't go up in there and be like, "What's up, Warriors?" and be like,
Why
"Oh,
not?
I'm offended.
Why not?
I don't
I
like
mean,
blood and guts."
well, so I mean, that's very interesting that you say that because to me, when I think of like a warrior, you don't necessarily have to be like literally in the fight of things, like because if you think about today's like environment, like sometimes just living is fighting. And
Yeah.
so like even just thinking about like, hey, you are just trying to survive, right? Depending on where you're at in your life. So we all have our inner warrior, right? So, you
I mean,
should continue to say that.
some are really nice and strong. Some are scrawny and.
So are you saying that I don't look like a warrior?
Oh no, I said your inside
That
warrior.
Chris, that just went completely the wrong way.
Yeah.
So
From where you were
what I'm
trying to have a
I
saying,
even
conversation.
I have red
so
on. I have
Megan,
red on.
Megan,
I mean
so
blood,
oh my
power.
goodness.
No, just kidding.
So you gotta listen, you gotta hear me out, okay? I'm not saying yours, Megan. So if you think yours is small, that's your own deal. What I'm saying
Whoa,
is
whoa,
everybody's
whoa, Chris!
everybody's
Stop
got a
while
different
you're
size
ahead.
warrior in
Stop
there.
while you're
I'm
ahead.
never gonna stop. I'm never gonna
Just
stop.
stop while you're ahead.
But what I'm saying is not everybody has that inner warrior. There's a lot of our population in this world
That are
yes,
snowflakes?
I mean, that's you're trying to trigger people. You start calling them snowflakes. You start saying you guys, and all of a sudden, oh my goodness, I'm pissing off the
Read the
world.
room, Chris. Read the room. Come on.
I'm kind
I,
of.
I
I
think you
mean,
got triggered, my friend. I think you're the only one that got triggered in this conversation.
hey, Carlo Garcia, what's up? Thanks for watching us. Hit us up with a comment. Let us know what you guys think. We're anything's on the table. Hey, Michael Wilson, what's up, man? I see you on the. I see you just joined. Thanks for joining.
I want to know where's my hat because it's like pretty much official.
Where's your stickers? Where's your stickers at?
Oh, hold on. I have. At least it's on my laptop, and I have my laptop right here because I had to send an email to a certain organization. So
There we
I
go.
have my sticker, right? It's all neatly placed on my laptop, right?
Yeah. Hit us up if you want some stickers.
They're at the Tierney Center, and then I have some in my bag, so that way I meant to give them out at the steering committee meeting today for the Orange County Veterans and Military Families Collaborative, but yeah, life happens and dealing with some other stuff prior to that meeting.
Hey, Michael, just DM me your address, and I'll send you a couple stickers, brother. No problem, man. So
Love
we got
it.
Michael Wilson on here saying, "Send me some stickers."
And then send us a picture of where you place the sticker.
Yes.
And who you shared it with. That is the important part, sharing and caring.
Yeah. So when I send you, I'm not just going to send you one. I'm going to send you a couple because I expect you to share them.
Yeah. I also want to know where's my hat.
Okay. So the hats.
Hey, I'm having a hard time hearing you.
You are?
With the stickers. What happened?
No hable el inglés.
So Chris wanted to make it a surprise. We're gonna make you a cowboy hat that had Miltabet on it. Yeah.
Cowboy hat?
Yeah, why not?
She's like, I'm not a boy. I'm a cowgirl.
Oh no, I won't.
Awkward. We'll just leave it like we'll keep on going. Again, Chris, read the room.
Okay, first of all, Marine's daughter, you think that I'm really that into the whole gender thing? Like that was never like, part of my upbringing or like snowflake or anything like that. If I had to even my dad would be like, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
No, but I mean, I have tons of cowboy boots. I mean, Chris, you saw, like my recent, trip up to Paso and I had my whole cowboy kind of look going on and everything like that. So I have a truck. I drive a truck. It might be electric, but I drive a truck. So let's get real here. I'm not.
It might
I'm
be
not.
electric. I'm glad you put that out there because if somebody was like, "Yeah, she does drive a truck, electric truck,"
Hey, whoa,
I
whoa,
would
whoa,
totally
easy,
be making fun of you.
easy.
Hey,
Hey,
there's
easy.
nothing
There's
wrong with
nothing
the
wrong
electric
with any
with the
electric vehicles,
things.
okay?
I know
Except for I'm just
Yogi has
saying,
a
if I'm gonna
Tesla.
haul some
Okay.
hay, if I'm gonna haul some hay for a very long time, if I gotta do a couple hundred miles of hauling hay, I'm using my diesel truck. I'm not using like a Tesla. What do you call that? The Cyber truck?
Have you
No,
tried?
Well, the Cybertruck is really weird looking, by the way.
you
I mean,
probably.
I'm all for Elon, right? I like Elon Musk. Elon, hi, I like you. If you ever watch this, hi, I do like
Yeah.
you.
Hashtag Elon. Let's get some. Let's
Yeah,
get some more
yeah.
people
I
on here.
actually, because I'm in the HVAC world, I try to like I've worked with Tesla to like recruiting on the veteran side, and so like when they came out with their whole like because they have the octopus system in their cars for HVAC,
Tell me
they're
more
trying to
about
do
this
that
octopus system.
in houses, right? So they're trying to use the same sort of. Don't ask me. It's just the way that my dad explained it to me, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck you're saying. You're speaking Chinese to me. This is
I
whole
do.
like.
That's why I'm messing with you, Megan.
I knew that you were, and so that's why I'm not even going to try to sound intelligent when I speak about it. All I'm trying to say is, hi, Elon. I like you. If you ever want to help support Human Works Foundation or Mil Tibet, we're here for you.
Yeah.
But anyways, but I love my electric truck. I have the Ford Lightning. If anyone needs something powered, I can power something because I can turn on this really cool button on my car and it will power something. When I went up to Paso, there was 7 of us or 6 of us. And so because I had the truck, was hauling all this food, all these booze, like everything in my truck. And I was like, what were you going to do if I didn't have this truck? Because this wasn't going to fit in 2 SUVs with all these women in there and their suitcases with all their stuff they were they're like, I don't know. And I was like, well, good thing I have a freaking truck. I took pictures of it. Like it literally was filled to the brim with all this stuff.
Okay, I have to take a break. I'll be right back.
So while Yogi's taking a break, I think it would be a good idea to show people how to find VSOs on the VA website. So I'm just going to take advantage of this. Hey guys, thanks for joining. Make sure you guys share, like, and spread the word. All right, let's remove Yogi from the stage. Bye-bye. He's going to be crying here in about 5 minutes saying, I need to come
Is
back
he?
on. Let's go. All right. So we're going to present this. We're going to show people how to find a VSO because this is super important, especially anybody that's trying to get any kind of benefits that are post military service. You're going to want to know how to do this. So this is your standard VA.gov website. All right. So this VA.gov website, well, this is where you're going to find your VSOs. Why is that? Because the Veteran Affairs controls who is a VSO and who's not a VSO. So if you ever need to find a VSO that has this cool little function here, I mean, real simple. You click on it, it's the search function, you type VSO on here, not VSI, and you're going to find where to get your accredited representatives. This is the list. This is the list that shows everybody from a certain area. So let's say for my area, okay, let's go like 100.
Now we know where you live.
That's all right. They can come find me. So yeah, Kelly Grigsby here. You have all this. This is the list of all the VSOs that could help you process your file. Now, here's the thing. All right, not every VSO is the same. So I'm going to put this website.
Are you
here
saying not everyone was created equally?
Not everyone was created equally, unfortunately. Unfortunately, at the same time. So here's the thing: you could go to your local to your local like Facebook group page for veterans or something like that, and you could actually um, reach out, be like, hey, which VSOs are good? Then you're going to go back to the va.gov and just make sure that they're legit, make sure that they're actually certified. Oh, what's up, dog?
This is Moo.
Moo. Yes. All right. So we got, oh, what is this? Okay. So let's take a look at what this does. We got the va.gov. Yep. Yep. That looks like the accreditation stuff. And it's really important to double check that stuff here. I'll show this one as well. Yes. Hey, Michael. So, hey, Michael, if you want to pop on the show, I could send you a link, man, and we can have you talk a little bit more about that too, brother. How about that, man? I'll send you a link really quick. It'll
Yeah,
be in
come
your
on,
DMs.
Michael.
Yeah. You got a lot of great information. All right, let's go stop sharing. What's up?
Food's ready.
Food's ready? Okay. You can eat the rice.
Oh, dinner's ready?
Oh, yeah, just wait. Okay.
Okay.
What's for dinner?
Oh, I made some stew. Made some
Ooh.
stew and oh yeah. Let me
Is
get
it
to
rabbit
my
stew?
uh
Rabbits? I mean,
no.
inflation is real, so.
I mean, I order a beef box. I'm not a sponsor of them or anything like that, so just a butcher box. I
Okay.
order
Do you like
I do
it?
the
I've kind of
I
considered it.
I am not 100% sold. I think it's kind of expensive.
How long have
Um,
you been doing it for?
I've been doing it for over a year now, actually.
So you're kind of
Um,
committed then if you've been doing it for a year.
I mean, so here's the thing. I like naturally sourced. Um, I like naturally sourced meat and food and stuff like that. That's what I like to do. Is it's all about the things that you put into your body. And if
Mhm.
you're putting this crap processed, I've
Mhm.
seen what they do. They load it up with chemicals and stuff like that, and then they pack it full of water. And then yeah, it's no good. It's no good. Like so, I decided to do the butcher box. The wife found one, and we decided to do it, and it's been pretty good so far. I um, definitely recommend at least taking a look for like a butcher in your local area that you could buy meat from
Do you go to
because
farmers markets at all?
I do go to farmers markets. Um, I I think farmers markets is actually a really cool place to go. I'm always on the search for veterans. You know, not just because I'm milled a vet, but because I'm looking for some cool people to hang out with in my area. And typically, I get along with veterans a little bit more. Maybe I'm a little biased. I don't know.
I think you are.
Yeah, maybe just a little. I'm
That's
just trying to
okay.
find. I'm just trying to, have some standards, like, and typically most of them fit that standard. But
Well,
yeah,
it's shared experiences, right? That you're
it
able to
is.
connect over.
It really
Which,
is.
as
It's
we get older, we're like so like stuck in our ways, and being able to connect with individuals like with shared experiences makes it that much more meaningful. So I can see why you're naturally wanting to connect with veterans, and I mean, I would think that that's kind of why you and Yogi really created Mill to Vet, was so that you could create that community, that environment for other veterans to connect with, no matter where they're at.
yeah, yeah. No, that's it. I think that shared experience thing is super strong. It crosses every single branch. And you're gonna have those people that are like, well, you weren't you weren't 10th Mountain Division, you weren't a Ranger. I'm like, okay, that's cool, dude. You could have that, man. Respect.
Yeah.
Like for real. I really do respect you for doing that. But you don't know what my journey was. You don't know what the other veterans' journey
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
You don't know. Did I was I ever in a combat area? Yeah, I was. Is it normal for my job to be in the combat area? No, it's not. It is not normal. Did I ever shoot guns? No. No, I didn't. Have I ever been shot at? Yes, I've been shot at.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but not everybody's journey is the same. Like, just
Yeah.
because somebody says, like, because I was an aviation maintenance administration in the
Mm-hmm.
Navy, and what that is, it's an admin behind the desk job.
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't be in any kind of harm's way, but that's not what actually happens. Is the military is going to put you wherever they need you,
Yeah.
and you know, a lot of brothers and sisters, um, they get pigeonholed and think that they can only do this one thing, and then they get really upset, you know, about their service. And I think that it's really important to realize that, hey, just because you're in this job today doesn't mean it's going to be the job that you're going to have tomorrow. And that was true with my career. Every 6 months, I had a totally different job, and that's kind of like doesn't help because I'm borderline ADHD, and so
I would think that that would totally help because you had some like freedom, some flexibility, and you were learning something new.
I
So
loved
it
it.
kind of helped you.
I loved it, but after service, it did not really help me because now I'm doing, you know what I'm saying? Like now I'm like
But you have a lot of different
one
things that you
so
do.
well,
I
doesn't
mean, you're
make
Mr.
sense now.
Mom, you do real estate, you have Milk to Vet. I mean, you have like the ADHD like ability to be able to kind of like navigate different things. Cause like
Yeah.
I also have ADHD and OCD. So like I have to do all these different things and I have to like kind of like, and I'm trying not to be like so like regimented as well, like with kind of like putting things in like containers so that I can like be able to like live my life as like a normal human being. So yeah, I mean it's just kind of one one of those things that's like if you have ADHD, you kind of like learn how to like navigate. I
Yeah.
was listening to this podcast, the Mel Robbins podcast, which has really
Yeah.
helped me.
Yeah.
Have you
Mel
listened to her?
Robbins.
She's
So,
awesome.
you know, Tony Robbins is phenomenal. His wife is just kind of like a different type of phenomenal. She's phenomenal like Tony Robbins.
No,
You know what I'm saying?
this isn't Mel Robbins. This isn't Tony Robbins' wife. This is a different
Oh,
lady. Yeah. So she
isn't her name Mel Robbins too? Tony Robbins' wife?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't listen to if that's the case. Like I don't know. I'm not going to speak to that.
Okay.
But what I would
No, but
say is, so Mel Robbins, she's on the East Coast. I think Tony Robbins and his wife maybe live on the West Coast, maybe, but I'm not gonna.
okay.
Maybe not. I don't know. I'm not gonna say. I just kind of have a feeling. Anyways, so she was talking about the difference between multitasking. She had a guest on, and then monotasking. And so even for someone like if we have ADHD, like monotasking, like being able to focus on one thing for even if it's like 10, 15 minutes at a time, taking a break and then moving on to something else is actually a lot more healthy for our brains. Because it actually can, if we're always multitasking, it can actually deteriorate our memory and like cognitive ability, which I felt was like kind of like really interesting because I feel like I'm always multitasking. And so I'm like, okay, so and I've been trying to be better about being like present in things and with people. And so that like, so I kind of was like, maybe I should try to be like not always trying to like multitask, kind of like what you're doing right now, Chris, because you're like monitoring the chat, you're talking with me, you're having to do all these different things, right? So it's kind of like how can we be more present in the moment and with people and with trying to focus and be our best selves. So it's kind of interesting to kind of think about that kind of task, like that kind of concept, I guess.
Yeah, it's like and I was wrong. Tony Robbins is not married to Mel Robbins, like you said. So here's documented evidence of me admitting I'm wrong.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Cheers.
Yes. All right. No, but so yeah, Mel Robbins. So I got confused, and I swear that somebody else that went to a live event with Mel Robbins said
Mhm.
that she's Tony Robbins' wife. And I'm like, so that okay, so my bad. But anyway, so back onto the whole time multitasking thing. I think you're right. It's almost kind of like with all this, it's kind of like being in your groove, being able to
Mhm.
ADHD things like or multitask because you have ADHD um, is kind of a gift, but you also have to learn how to turn it off.
Mhm.
That's what the disorder is. It's not being able to turn it off and just relax your brain because, like you said, it deteriorates over
Mhm.
time.
Mhm.
And that's kind of one of the things that's been really hard for me is how to turn it off. Um,
Mhm.
and it could lead to, frustration and, because sometimes I am like, I have too much on my plate.
Mhm.
And it's my own fault because I'm always constantly,
Are you
uh,
saying yes to too many things?
oh, I'm a people pleaser. Of course, I'm saying yes to too many
Yeah,
things.
this is something that I've been working on for the last several years as it like an individual, right? It's like it's okay to say no, right? And I think that those that are in kind of like, especially like in the military, right? Like you want to help serve, like you have this call to serve, right? You want to like help people. And so like sometimes we want to just say yes just because we know it's going to help someone, but you may not actually be helping yourself. So it's kind of like, how do you begin to find that balance of helping yourself, but also helping other people, and being able to kind of like walk that fine line, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm sure that's something that you're grappling with. I'm grappling with. I don't know if Yogi's grappling with that because he's not here, so we can't ask him.
Well,
So
he's
I'm
multitasked too much,
yeah, he's in class
or
right now.
he doesn't
He's
have
in class.
ADHD. Yeah, he's in
He's
class right now,
he's in class. Yeah.
or he doesn't have ADHD at all, so he's just not able to, do what I do.
Oh, so you're saying he's not as gifted as you are?
I mean, he's a monotasker. Now
He's
I
having to
hope
monotask right now.
yeah, he can't. he's oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Um, yeah, it's crazy. So okay, so Michael never came on, and I was inviting
Well, I
Michael
think
on.
I think it's kind of scary, right? So I think
No,
for
it's
for some people, like feeling like, hey, they're gonna come on, right? And maybe they weren't anticipating that, right? But I think
yeah.
that are we gonna wait for Yogi to do the segue, or what are we doing?
I don't know. Yogi is. Let's see. Everybody, let's look at what's Yogi's
To
doing.
Oh,
He's going through. All right, so that's why Yogi's not on. He's in the middle of a conversation. But to be fair, he is in college. He's a full time student now. Um, I mean, yeah.
and why is he now a full time student? You were telling me about this earlier.
So the benefits, right?
Yeah.
This is why it's super important to get in to the VA and get your um, disability stuff done. All right. So with disability, there's some other additional benefits that veterans get that those without disability benefits do not get. So everybody that joined in the military and within a certain time frame got the Montgomery GI Bill, and then it graduated into the 9/11 GI Bill, which is the college. That's how they're going to college for with a stipend. You get a stipend and all that stuff. Oh, what's up, David? Let's see. Sorry, David said, "What's up, brother?" No,
So
he's a good dude. Yeah, he's a good dude.
you
So
gonna come on, David, or what?
yeah. Hey, David, I'll send you a link. You can come hop on here and talk about college stuff and benefits. So if you guys don't take advantage of those benefits that are out there for your education, you may like the GI Bill will cover a stipend, and then it'll pay for your college to a certain amount of, and then it gives you kind of like a small stipend for books as well. Um,
It can also cover housing as well if you need
yeah,
help with housing. But, and I will say, so like from the Orange County Veterans and Military Families Collaborative standpoint, we actually reached out to Young Kim and Michelle's office here. Like there are local representatives like within the assembly and the Congress about some of the challenges with utilizing the GI Bill and covering those that are trying to cover their rent with, you know, as they're going to school because with like winter sessions and summer sessions, unless they're enrolled in specific classes, the GI Bill will not cover their rental support. And so, and then sometimes, like if a teacher decides to like fail them for some weird reason, or like not take into account, so there's like different things that have popped up over the years,
yeah,
just based on. So we're trying to work with our elected officials to actually help change legislation that will help with helping veterans like in those, because there's only certain classes that will actually help qualify for that stipend or rental assistance and things like that.
yeah. And so Yogi is,
Hi,
yeah,
Yogi.
yeah. What's up, Yogi?
Hello,
How
konnichiwa.
Yeah,
is
so
class
Konbanwa.
up?
Yasuminasai. What?
Is
What
class up?
class? What are you talking about?
the
I
cat's
mean
out the
class
bag,
on
bro. Cat's
class
out the
online.
bag.
Class online.
Everybody
Yeah,
knows
the
that you're
class is
taking a
out.
basket
Finished.
weaving class.
So Yogi, we're gonna talk about what is like what are the next steps now moving forward.
Yeah.
Now since you have this crazy redhead involved in your life.
Wait, where's the redhead? Oh, I'm sorry. I got confused with this shirt. I thought it was just all blending in.
I thought you were wearing a
This
full
is a short
hooded
dress, by the
onesie.
way.
It's a
This
The
well, it's
what?
it's a
basically a
hooded
dress.
onesie.
Well, it's not. There's no hood.
So, for everybody that's joining us, we want to share with you that the Miltived community is kind of shifting, growing. We're always trying to improve to be able to get you the best quality for what we can do, right?
That's
With
why I'm
that being,
here.
ah, so with that, what we want to do is we are going to start what is called the scuttlebutt. For everyone that doesn't know what the scuttlebutt is, for us Navy folk, I for the part of the being the Chiefs is knowing a little bit about history and sharing with that what we are, right? So the scuttlebutt is what used to be called when the watering hole, i.e., the place where the water was held on the ship, and then everybody would go get some water, right? But and that's where the term talking around the water cooler, the watering hole, all of those terms, that's kind of part of where they derived because that's where you would go, you would drink some water, but you would also have a conversation about everything and anything that was going on, right? And with that, what we want to do is kind of take it and make it a more of a military term and then use it that way to be able to share some of the information and have the same setting that we have right now, Chris, Megan, and I. And if you, our audience, wants to jump in and then share something that's burning your desire, we would love to address it and also bring special guests. And also, if we have some information that is very pertinent, we want to also address it at that point. For everyone that has been following us for a long time, Chris has been doing the weekly um, VA updates to share with our community about what the news within 60 seconds, right? He's been doing that on all the social medias to be able to get you some of the most important topics that are around. The watering hole, the scuttlebutt, is gonna be more of an in-depth scenario of things that are going on in that perspective.
So, question,
Answer.
Chris or Yogi, do you want to just share the preliminary like image that like we're kind of playing with, that we're working, that we're updating? I mean, it's not the final, and that's okay because we're all a work in progress, right? I think it'd be kind of cool to kind of show like what we're kind of doing on this like monthly series and what we're trying to achieve. And I think, you know, like imagery is also like power, right? Just kind of like this
Absolutely.
platform is a huge power. So I don't know if you want to pull up that image that Carol sent because I'm on my iPad, so it's a little bit different.
It would be an absolute honor to do that. And
Yeah.
for the critics out there, we want you, as Megan already mentioned, this is a work in progress, right?
So we're
one of the
making it more
things-
diverse, so don't worry.
So that's one thing. Also, the next thing is that we are tailoring some of the uniforms to represent all of the military branches that we associate with. And Chris is having a really hard time presenting this. He should have practiced beforehand, but it's okay for everybody that's watching.
It's okay.
This is a learning.
But
This is a learning opportunity.
First of all, I love Carol and how she took our idea.
Yes.
So Carol works for me, and I was like, Carol, we have this idea, and this is what we're gonna do. And she was like, okay. And then she was like, so this is what I've come up with. And I was like, okay, I think it's great. And then I had her, like, before I had her send it to you guys, I had her kind of swap it a little bit, like the imagery. So she did do like a few more revisions. But the one thing that I find very funny is that I look like an old maid, because I had like this old fashioned like apron and stuff on. I was like, oh, I kind of look very like old, like back in the day, like when they actually had like wooden ships. I was like, oh, okay. But I think she did a great job with just like kind of like our initial ideas and everything like that. And so we are in the process of adjusting the uniform so that they reflect them better, and then also making it a little bit more diverse. And Chris, I don't know if you're slightly colorblind. Like I know in the military they take colorblind individuals, but like the other two women are actually brunettes. They're not redheads. So I just have to say that, like on air and call you out. I mean, I did do ha 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 ha, you know, in our like internal like group text, but you know, I just had to like, you know, throw that out there.
Hey, from right here, the way that my color looks on my screen, that is 3 redheads. 3.
No, that's a brunette, and that's a brunette. That's a brunette. That's a brunette.
Okay.
So, Chris, I'm gonna ask you again to please read the room.
Oh my goodness! Look at
first
this.
Off, you're
3.
arguing with a female about color. That is the first mistake you're making. Why would you even begin to do that?
I'm not a female of color, though.
Whoa! Again.
Hey, Yogi, you need to read the room here. I'm telling you right now, you are skating really close. Really skating close.
Here we go.
I am a minority, though.
Okay. I want you guys to see this, but I am not the only one that says
David,
they say.
I'm sorry. There's a brunette. Those are 2 brunettes and 1 redhead. So get your eyes checked. You might also be colorblind. I don't know what branch you served in. My ex was colorblind, so I can verify this whole colorblindness thing. And if you're in the Marines, they take individuals that are colorblind. So I just know that.
Again, we're going to the why are we arguing with a female about color? I'm just saying. It's a losing fight.
I'm pretty sure David was a Marine and his favorite color is red. So I would trust his brunette.
He was a Marine. Create crayons. Therefore, all colors taste the same according to them.
David, you are right. A brunette actually has red in their hair. So they can't have the ginger, right? So here I am. I'm a redhead. I'm actually naturally a brunette. Okay, let's see my roots here. So Separate Five. Thank you, David. Yeah. My dad loves you. He doesn't know you, but he
My dad
loves
loves you.
And redheads are his favorite. Okay,
Thank
all
you.
right.
Thank you. I know we are amazing individuals. We are also very spicy, hence the redhead. And so it's kind of hard to contain us. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
We're going to call you out at all ends, whether you want to or not. Whether I make a fool out of myself or not, it's going to happen. I don't know what to say.
Thank you, Yogi, for putting that on there.
No worries. So, as you can see, this is representing the scuttlebutt, right? This is the barrel that used to be in some of the olden ships.
Oh, that's from the
And
Constitution, by the way. That's the
correct.
Constitution's
Uh,
scuttlebutt.
and then from that, we also have the as you already said it, Megan, the wench, which also, even though they were not allowed to be in a
That's me. That's me.
yeah, that's right. That is correct. That is you. Even though they were not allowed to be in warships back in the day because it was considered to be bad luck for a female to make voyages across the ocean. However,
But
that
here I
does not
am.
mean exactly. That does not mean that is not part of the culture nowadays, right?
Yeah.
And then, we're open to feedback. We're open to input to be able to make our logo even better so that everybody can feel represented. Because at the end of the day, it's not just us, it's for everybody that surrounds us. And then you can see Chris, his humongous face, which I love it.
I'm just saying, I am not completely gray, okay? And zoom in on that face.
I don't think
that's debatable.
That's
That's not great, bro.
You're clean shaven in that.
I just love the fact that my mustache is on point. Just saying, Carol.
Carol is
we
on
already
point always.
we already know who the favorites in this conversation are. I mean, I look
and
good.
That's Carol. And
Megan
Carol.
looks good. Anyone else that doesn't look good, I mean, that's
hey. Can we at least remove the show? Can we at least remove the shoulder bars off of there? Come on, I was not an officer.
Hey, so
I worked for a living.
So for everybody that doesn't know, we are we're working we're in process of changing this to make it a home front sit rep podcast. Loves Mill to Bed. We love you too, David.
Yeah, David. Oh yeah. So hey, David, my bad, man. A home front sit rep podcast. So Yogi, remember the whole entire I told you that some podcaster hooked us up with knowing about FeedSpot, naming us to number 2. Well,
yes,
that was David.
Absolutely.
And now David is actually number 1 on there. Hey, David.
Thanks, bro.
Congrats, David.
David, you're out there just kicking some butt. He had some really awesome people recently on there. You had Oscar Mike on there. Bro, hey, you guys want to come on our show, mildavet.com, share your story. Literally goes right into our calendar. That's
bring him on the show.
Yeah, we're gonna bring you on the show, dude. Actually, hey, hold tight, David. Yeah. Send you a link, bro. I got you, man. Yogi, why didn't you send this guy a link, man? You're in here too.
Because he was busy taking class.
Oh, he was busy.
Straight A student.
He's a straight something student, that's for sure.
Shit. You know what he was
Speaking
doing?
of that,
multitasking. We just got.
He's a monotasker, okay?
We just talked about monotasking, okay?
And my teacher called me out.
Oh, what'd she say?
Oh, that's what the last 10 minutes. That's why I wasn't even talking to you guys or listening to you. She's like, "What are you doing? Let me see your screen." And I'm like, "What screen?" Luckily, I was using the phone, so my screen was in school. However, my headphones and my hearing aids, I was having multiple people
hearing aids.
Yes.
Yeah, he's got bionic ears,
You
bro.
Oh,
you
I
never
didn't
seen him?
notice. No,
I thought you knew.
no, I did not
Oh,
know.
well, the good thing about the hearing aids, or bad thing, right? It's a duality,
Hmm.
is that they can also function as Bluetooth devices.
Yes, yeah, I know. I did this
So
with my grandma the other, like, I've been helping this battle with my grandma for the last 4 months. I'm not
so
trying to say
my
that you're old. I'm just saying that
whoa,
I've
well,
experienced
I'm
this.
wise and experienced, so thank you very
I
much.
know.
Oh,
I
you're
know.
old.
I just need to
You're old.
clarify. My
Thank you,
grandma's
thank
saying
you.
it.
I appreciate
That's
that.
all.
And so with that, I had you on the phone in my hearing aids, which were kind of blocking the headphones, and the headphones was for the class. So it was very confusing who was saying what. And so I had to take everything off and then start over. And then the teacher called me out at the right time, and I'm like, sorry, but it worked
Did
out.
I sound like your teacher though?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so.
You can, maybe.
I do facilitate, I do teach, on the nonprofit side.
You
So,
do.
I
Oh,
do.
something else. I don't know if you guys already covered it, but since I came in late, we are working with you
Hmm.
to be able to get the any donations that anyone that is watching us
Hmm.
to be able to help us, one, take care of the expenses that we're acquiring or have acquired, but also to help us grow. And
Hmm.
for anyone that does not know, Mill to Vet here in San Diego, as part of the Better Business Bureau, we've already sponsored 2 scholarships.
Oh, that's awesome.
We've also housed 2. Um, one, an active duty service member that I was going through a really hard time, that was medically evacuated here to San Diego and was essentially homeless for 3 months.
Mm.
Uh, we were able to house them, and then we were also able to provide. I don't know. Nobody can see that, Chris. You got the reflection, and you got the other things.
Hey, David, I sent you a link. Check your DMs, man.
Okay. And then we have also been able to provide a vehicle for another service member who was
Nice.
struggling. What up, man?
What's
Welcome.
up, bro?
Hey.
Going on?
Hey,
How are
thanks
you
for
doing?
coming on with us, man. Like, I
Yeah.
appreciate it. I know you just
Oh, we
came
got a
home from a funeral.
Marine.
Yeah,
What
I'm a
up?
Marine.
Yeah.
I'm a jarhead.
Yeah.
And
Gotta
that's
love
why
it.
you see the big crayon in the back.
Yeah.
I
Well,
got
there's
my
two
red
of
on.
them.
I
There's
got
two
my
of
red
them.
on.
Exactly.
And then,
It's
And
uh,
then, and Megan, you notice they're colored red?
hey, hey, just so like ceremonies, you see the ceremonial bullets, they're brass bullets. They're like really, really cool, right? Instead of that, this guy had probably 2 Crayolas and he ate the bottom half and kept the top as a memento. Tell me different.
You know what? I don't think my dad would really appreciate that. And as a daddy's girl, I really have to make sure that I have recorded and on tape that,
That you stood up for your
stand
dad?
You stood
that
up for him?
I stood up for the Marines, not just my dad, but for the
Wait,
Marines.
wait. So
So
hold on a second, and correct me if I'm wrong, Will. But every Marine will take it as a badge of honor,
yes.
being told that they had a crayon or that they
Yeah.
love eating crayons.
Yes.
So if your dad does not agree with that statement, either one, he's out of tune with the times. No, I don't know. Or two, was
Okay,
he a
so
Marine?
maybe I'm just, like, I'm not a veteran, right? So, for me, it's just like whatever it is, I'm like, oh, like, gotta like make sure that I and like standing up for like the Marines, whether good, bad, or like indifferent, right? I'm just like, oh no, I gotta make sure that I voice my opinion and my support of the Marines. So
no, I get that. Now, so the whole story, I don't know if you know the story behind where the crowns came from.
I
So
don't. I don't.
This was I forget when this was, but the story was the bunch of Marines went to a sorority party,
Oh, that sounds
and
scary.
the sorority girls were dressed up as crowns, different colors of crowns. So that's where the story
What
came
year
from.
was this? What year was this?
This was in the 90s. I forget. Hold on,
Okay.
let me see
So
if I
this
can
is
find the picture.
this is past my dad's service.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so he like this would not be on my dad's radar. So yeah.
Hold on, let me see if I can.
I was born in 87, so yes, I'm 37 years old. I'm
You're
single. No, just kidding.
definitely younger than I am.
I thought you were 25 though.
I may look 25, but I'm 37.
So for everyone that doesn't know and gets the opportunity to get and meet Megan face to face, she usually looks like a pinup girl and super beautiful and young. So just saying, the show doesn't do her any justice. We have to acquire higher quality resolution camera so that we can represent you accurately.
Oh, thank you, Yogi. Today I'm a little bit. I went to the dentist this morning, had half my face frozen, had the steering committee meeting for the veterans, and I've just been all over the place. So today, this is casual Megan. Just
Casual Megan.
yeah.
I just got home from a funeral or visitation. The funeral is actually tomorrow at 10 a.m. So
Oh, I'm so
Hear
sorry.
that, bro?
it's all right. It was so my dad passed away a year ago on the 19th.
Mm.
His partner, his husband, passed away on the 14th. Almost a year.
Oh
Years
no.
to date.
Oh no, sorry.
So it's definitely rough, that's for sure. And then my company went on strike. So I had to testify in court yesterday against a veteran that was
Ooh.
defrauding the government. So I had to go to federal court in Frankfurt yesterday. So I was there from 9 a.m. till 4:30 yesterday afternoon. Well, on Friday, I got the call that my stepdad passed away at 12:53. 3:00,
God.
3:00, I got the call that my company that I work for, AT&T, is on strike in our district. So it's like boom, 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 and it's like holy cow.
And so, how are you feeling with all those changes?
I'm struggling for sure. I'm definitely struggling. It's like I told the wife. I said, because we just got home and doing my podcast is my therapy. And I didn't get to do my meet and greets tonight because I was at the funeral. So I had to reschedule the 2 meet and greets that I had for my show. And I went in there and like I said, we literally just got home. The girls went to bed because we had to get up early in the morning to go there. And I was like, Chris had said something about me jumping on. I was like, would you mind if I jump on his show? And at first she said, yeah, I'd be mad because literally we just got home. And then she thought about it and she came out and she said, if you want to get on his show, jump on because she knows it's my therapy.
Right.
So we go, on my show, we go live on Sundays and Mondays and Wednesdays are, like I said, is my meet and greet night. So I usually utilize Sunday, Monday, and Wednesdays as therapy when I can't get to the therapist. So yeah.
So do you feel like the talking is what helps you? Like talking about or just talking with other people or talking about what you're going through? Is that?
Well, with my podcast, talking with other veterans and stuff and hearing their stories and then me be able to tell my story. I think it does help.
Okay.
And then we do our monthly tip of the spear, which Chris is. I've been waiting for Yogi to get on. I guess Chris never invites Yogi to it. So.
No, he doesn't share those
totally
things.
don't.
He just wants to.
No,
He wants
I'm
to
just
have
like,
you all to
mine.
He's the
himself.
other
Mine.
redheaded stepchild.
Yeah.
Mine. Give it all to me.
So,
Go
yeah,
Yogi.
we do our monthly tip of the spear, which is so on my podcast we keep
Oh, one
politics.
second. Yogi's getting really excited right now because he said just a tip. Yogi, chill out. Chill out.
He looks so.
I'm waiting to hear the joke. Where's the joke?
Chris, he's waiting for the joke, bro.
Just the tip.
Just the tip.
Or do you just want these? You choose. You can have just the tip or these.
Oh man.
Neither. We both know which one is in what location in this. Anyways, moving forward.
Yogi,
Back to you, Will. Back to
what-
you, Will.
What branch of service were you, Yogi?
Both Navy, bro. Both Navy
You were
Chiefs.
Navy. What day of the week was the day in the barrel? I had to go there. You know I did. I had to go there.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chris.
That's
See
good.
what you opened up for?
You opened Pandora's box, bro.
That was.
No, I opened a box of Crayolas. That's the only. I'm sorry, that won't happen. I'll get the cheap ones next time. The Marines don't like the knockoffs.
So David started to talk about the story, and then when he said it happened in the 90s, and I was like, yeah, that was past my dad's
Yes.
time, you know, so that he wouldn't, I mean, he might know it and he might understand it, but I had no idea about the whole France thing.
Yeah, so I got out in 2001 the first time in 2001, and then I went back in, got out in 2004. Well, the Crown story didn't really come full frontal until after I got out.
Full frontal. I don't think that's the right choice of
That
words, my
sounds really,
friend.
that sounds scary.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't well known. Let's put it that
There
way.
we
It wasn't, it wasn't well known in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
So I think it happened in the 90s or late 90s, early 2000s when they went. It was in California, matter of fact. So at
Oh,
one of
well,
the,
land of fruits and nuts. What can I say?
yeah, definitely.
I know I'm in a
And
blue
this is-
state, being in Washington State, but I'm glad I'm
Let
not
me
down
see if
there.
I can find the picture of.
When I mean blue, I mean just sad and depressed.
Right,
Oh.
right.
Crazy people.
Let's see if I can find that picture.
So in the meantime, Will, I know you were talking and you were sharing with us, especially once Chris left, because you know he came back and he changed the whole atmosphere of the conversation again.
Leroy Jenkins. At least I got me some chicken.
Chicken? I thought you were having stew. I thought that's what you made for dinner.
No, Leroy.
Mr.
Oh my
Mom.
God! Someone tell I made fabulous stew. It's literally the best. Just say.
Are you going to send me some with my hat and my t-shirt
No.
and my sweatshirt or what?
Yo,
What's going
I
on
sent Yogi a hat for you.
Whoa, 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 whoa. So first things first, right? I tell him, he's like, hey, are you coming for the comedy show that you said and you told everybody that you were going to be here for?
Yeah.
Said individual.
And I also
waited
bought
till the
tickets.
last minute
And I also bought tickets
Hold on,
for a
hold on, it's my story.
retirement that
It's my story. You get your
didn't
story
happen.
after. And then this said individual, he's like, you know what? I'm not gonna make it. I bought the wrong tickets. And then I'm gonna send you at a bare minimum. I'm gonna send you a couple of hats. When did the hats arrive? The week after the comedy show, because they were sent the day before the comedy show.
This is
Just for the
why you
record.
should never ask me to go to the post office. My wife is probably.
I'm surprised
My
you
wife
didn't
will probably pop
blame
on
the
here and
post
start
office.
beat me up.
Oh, he did.
Hey, Chris, show that slide there that I just put in there.
Oh
So-
my goodness!
Oh,
Yeah, so if you it says the origins of Marines eating crowns actually dates back to a themed sorority party thrown by the lovely ladies of Alpha Delta Pi at UCLA. The invitations to the
Explains
party
a
were
lot.
and it was the Marine station at first Division stationed at Camp Pendleton, just south of LA.
that's really not just south of LA. That's like several hours.
Yeah.
Like
So
San Diego.
So the Marine helped fix her vehicle, and then she invited him to the party, and he asked if he could bring a few friends. She was excited and said, "Sure, the more the merrier." And then that's kind of where the story came of Marines eating crowns. So yeah.
eating crayons.
Yeah,
We're
Yeah.
we're just gonna leave it at that.
we're just gonna leave it at that.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna
we're
leave it at
gonna
that.
Let
leave
the
it at that.
imagination roll.
So it's really
Because
not a
those
negative
dresses,
thing.
those dresses were really short. So it wasn't
Were
that
they
hard
really
to
That's-
dresses
crayon.
though?
I like how you're trying to change the fact that you guys eat plastic Crayolas. I like how you're trying to change that fact. It's this disinformation age is just getting way out of hand.
Oh, are you talking about fake news?
What's that?
Yeah, putting the sorority girls up there story. No, it predates that. I'm sure.
Come on, I don't think it does. I don't think it does. Well, that was 5 years ago when that was posted. So that was posted
You know
5
what?
years
I'm
ago.
gonna text my dad and ask him if he knows about the crayon story.
Okay,
Yeah.
I posted a Crayola story about like 7 years ago. I reposted it with President Bush around a couple ordnance men that are in the Navy and they're wearing red, and he talks about disability, supporting disability people. But it's a Crayola joke too. So
Mm-mm-mm.
gotta
Dang.
love our AOs
Yeah,
right
right.
up there.
So
It's the same
you
thing
guys,
for them.
when I first tuned in, you guys were talking about like the GI Bill and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'll put my little take on that. So when I got out in 2001, I started going to ITT Tech because I wanted to become an architectural engineer. And then I got recalled back into the Marine Corps, so I had to put my GI Bill on hold. And then when I got out the second time, ITT Tech was being a pain in the ass. So I said, screw you guys. And then I restarted my college career at University of Phoenix, and I went to go get a degree in criminal justice. So I utilized my GI Bill for that, and finally did get my degree. And of course, 20 something years later, I'm not doing anything with criminal justice, even though I have an AA.
I was going to ask, what are you doing with criminal justice? Would you like to come work for me? I also not just help veterans, but also the reentry community.
Well, it depends on where you're located at.
California.
Nope, I ain't moving to California. Too many
It's
fruits
called,
like taken
it's
out
called
there.
remote work,
You just proved that California has been the best thing that ever happened to the Marine Corps. Just saying.
I did. You're right. I did.
You just literally proved that.
Yeah. Well, my wife would love to move to California, Florida or California. She just wants to be near a beach.
Well, Florida
I have to say,
is
San
really
Diego, that
muggy.
entire beach is just amazing.
I mean, I live in Kentucky right now, so.
Oh my
It's
goodness!
a win-win.
Well, if you ask me,
It's
I'd
hot.
rather move to Washington, Wyoming, Montana, somewhere
Montana, bro.
up there's where I
You know
want
how
to
much
be.
Montana is? Like Montana
Land-wise?
is just ridiculously expensive.
Yeah.
Buying land
Well,
there.
you can thank Yellowstone for that.
Yeah.
The Yellowstone.
That's a good show, though. That's a good show.
It is, but it jumped the prices up major. Because I know at one time when I was looking at moving to Montana, probably I don't know, a few years ago. I'm not gonna tell how old I am, but land was pretty reasonable, especially at the foothills of the mountains. You can get land for like I think it was like $600 an acre at that time, which was
Less than
relatively, huh?
Even within the last 10 years, it was even less than that.
Yeah, once Yellowstone came out, the price skyrocketed.
Yep.
So,
Freaking Hollywood, they just got to ruin everything, don't they?
yeah.
Well, it'll come back down in prices once they get.
So either my
they go through
wife
a
is
couple more
watching
years.
or she's listening to me. She said that
That's what it is.
we can't move to California, is what she said.
Why not?
Thank goodness.
Does she want to come be my friend? We can be friends, though.
She might. I don't know.
Everybody wants to be your friend, Megan.
But yeah, utilizing the GI Bill was probably one of the good things that I either had to use it or lose it. So I didn't have the GI Bill where I could transfer it to my kids. Of course, I have two daughters that one's a senior this year and one's a junior. Both plan on going into the military. One wants to go Air Force, so she wants to go to college, Air Force, security forces, then CID, and then she wants to go to the FBI. That's her ultimate.
Wow.
That's her ultimate end goal.
She's very goal oriented, which is
awesome.
awesome.
For sure. And then then my youngest, who's a junior, she'll be 16 in September. Her goal is college, then military. She wants to go in as a combat medic. She wants to get
Oh.
trained. She wants to get trained as a medic. And then when she gets done with her military service, she wants to become a high school history teacher. So
Oh,
she,
very cool.
both of them, definitely different career paths.
Did you also tell them that it's okay if they end up changing their minds?
Oh yeah, yeah. We've supported our kids or whatever. Now, so Grace, my youngest, her career path at high school has
Mhm.
been law enforcement. So she's already taken college criminal justice classes, and she's a 4 point. Her GPA is 4.23. I don't know. It's higher than a 4.0. And I'm like, how's your GPA higher than a 4.0? And but it's because of her honors classes, her AP
Yeah.
classes, her
Yeah.
college classes that she's taking and stuff like that. So
She's a girl after my own heart. 'Cause
So
I
both-
also
well,
did
my wa-
ROP classes, law enforcement,
Yeah.
criminal law, like all that kind of stuff when I was in high school. So
there you go. There
yeah,
you go.
so
So
that's
my
awesome.
wife was a 4.0.
That's what happens when you're a Marine's daughter. What can I
There
say?
you
You're an
go.
overachiever.
Well, my wife is an overachiever, so that's where my kids get it. Because when I was in high school, my GPA was like 3.4 or 3.2, 3, somewhere right around there. It was B's and A, B's and C's is what I had. And my wife, now on the other hand, was straight A student all the way through high school. Then she went to Bellarmine University, got a double major in history and communications with a minor in political science, and she graduated.
Wow.
She graduated in 3 years with a 3.98 GPA.
Wow.
So my wife is uber smart, and it's
So
like,
lots of good female genes, basically.
yes,
Okay.
very very much so. And
Girl power.
my wife had tons
Girl
of
power.
scholarships. So there's nothing wrong with girl power.
Spice Girls. I grew up during Spice Girls. Okay, very influential time in my lifetime. Okay, Spice
There you
Girls.
go. There you go.
The Spice Girls together are phenomenal, right? But you take them apart and they
And
just
they're
fall
nothing.
apart.
And
Yeah,
then there's
so-
just Posh Spice.
I hear
Sorry,
nothing but
Becca.
judgment in your tone of voice, Chris.
It's not. It's facts. Look them up. Like they literally
Didn't do anything individually.
no.
But
Actually,
Except
they
Victoria Beckham.
fell apart individually. Actually,
Well, Victoria
No.
Beckham only did anything because her husband's David Beckham.
I
Ooh.
wouldn't say that. She's actually very talented. She has her own
I mean,
makeup
she
line. She has
attracted-
her own fashion line. I mean, they also created some really attractive children. So
Well, Mel B's doing all right, right?
I don't. I'm
I
not
don't even
saying
know
she
who y'all
did
guys
bad.
are.
here's the thing with that. She
Scary
attracted
Spice.
somebody that was the same caliber of her as a partner. Typically, that's what happens. She just, she was very talented at what she did. That's probably the reason why Spice Girls was even really recognized. My goodness, going into Spice Girl or background.
I know, right?
My
It's all
goodness.
It's all Megan Fox.
There you go. You get an old millennial. You start talking about all these different things, and I'm going to bring up Spice Girls out of like anything.
Yeah, I'm an old
Who's
millennial
the
too.
millennial
So
here?
I want to ask everyone where they were during 9/11.
Whoa.
Ooh.
So I just got out of the Marine Corps. So I got out in August of 01. I was back home in Bardstown, Kentucky, and I was working on terminal leave. I was working in a factory, a plastic injection molding company, and I was on break at the time of the first strike. And I called my mom and said, "Hey, be ready for that Western Union." Because I literally was still on individual ready reserves. I wasn't even out of the Marine Corps yet. And she goes, "What do you mean Western Union?" I was like, "Well, that's how I'm going to get recalled, is they're going to send a telegram via Western Union to our house." Because her house was the home of record that I was staying at. And sure enough, like 2 weeks later, that Western Union showed up and said, please report back to Camp Lejeune for combat refresher training. So
Mm.
that's where I was at during 9/11.
Okay.
So
Yogi?
I was already. I had done the what is it called, the maps, no, the early what
Delayed
is it called,
entry program.
the delayed entry program. Thank you very much. And I had already signed up, and I was ready to go that year. I was walking into Spanish class, um, and Spanish
West
class
Coast?
was no, I was in Houston, Texas.
Okay, so
Uh,
Central.
I had just finished teaching ROTC as well. I was one of the instructors for one of the commanders in there.
Hmm.
And then I walked into Spanish class, and the teacher was like freaking out. And then the only thing that I could think of is my sister, was because my sister was in that area. So I was very concerned. Obviously, we didn't have, I had a cell phone, but we didn't have really ways to communicate, because you guys know that everything got shut down. There was no phone calls.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that was
on top of that, this was before iPhones were ever a
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the
So
level of
Nokia.
communication,
Nokia.
yeah, it was Nokia. The level, Razor, Motorola, Razors, and all that.
Mhm.
But
That
this
wouldn't
guy,
didn't even have them at that
no,
time.
they
no,
had
they
them.
did. They did.
They had Razors
They
at
did.
that time.
Did
I
they?
was
Flip
working at
phones.
Radio
Yeah.
Shack at the time, and I
Oh,
was one of the
wow.
first ones to get a racer, because it was a bonus for signing up 6 consecutive cell phones in a at the same time. So I was like, I just got the racer for free. So I was like, okay, I was the cool kid on the block.
Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's where I was at. And I tried
Goodness, the
calling my
Razor.
sister. There was no full set, no cell phone signal, so that was even better. And then the next thing in my mind was like, when am I gonna? Is this gonna expedite the next thing, right? Which I was cool with it, um, because that's what I really wanted to do, and it didn't. I still things took their course. So yeah. What about you, Christopher?
Well, I was in 10th grade, I think. Yeah, I was in 10th grade. So I lived in Washington State. So I didn't see any of that until um, after the first plane hit. So I remember turning it on my TV, and I had a black and white TV. Okay. And I just saw smoke coming out of this building. I'm like, oh, and they were saying a plane crashed into it. And I was like, hey, Dad, a plane crashed into a building in New York. And then right then I went upstairs, and my dad had a nice TV up there. Um, and the other plane crashed right into it. I was getting ready for school. And I used to watch the news beforehand. Um, but yeah, my goodness, it was crazy. I was in high school, and yeah, just crazy. And then I was already going to join. I actually joined a year later. Actually rolled in when I was in 11th grade. But I didn't ship off until I graduated. So I joined prematurely because I got in some legal trouble that
Oh,
didn't.
sounds like my dad.
Yeah. So my and here's the thing, my um, recruiter knew of me because I was already talking to him when before that 9/11 happened, and the guy actually like went up to bat for me, and that's how I ended up joining the Navy. So I got very lucky. Um, but yeah, that's where I was at for September 11th. My goodness, what about you, Megan? Where were you?
So my dad's birthday is actually September 12th. So September 11th is kind of a weird day because, 9/11, happened obviously the day
Predate.
before his birthday. But I was a freshman in high school, so Chris, we're very close in age. And, I grew up, my family, we always listened to Rush in the morning, Rush Limbaugh. So I'm a Rush baby. And so, so I just remember going to school, my dad taking me and my brother to school in the morning. And me and my brother are 21 months apart. And so my dad's taking me to high school, Capistrano Valley Cougar, go Cougars, rare. And so, what?
No, nope. I'm not saying nothing.
Yep.
moving
Don't say
forward.
that, Yogi.
I mean, I am 37 at this point. So am I quasi a cougar now? I'm like, I have no idea.
Wait, what happened? Hey, so Ryan Burns wants to say hi.
Yeah.
Good segue. Good segue, Yogi.
I was on leave from the USS Tarwana at the time.
What?
My
Tarawa.
best friend,
Say that again.
USS Tarawa.
Tawana, whatever. Sorry.
No.
I added it in on there. My best friend and I were out drinking
I'm
the night
out.
before. Hey, Ryan Burns was one of my Liberty buddies. So
Oh, that's
He called
funny. What
me-
a small world.
yeah, he called me and told me to turn on the TV because planes crashed into the World Trade Center. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, so that's what I remember. So as my dad's taking me to school, you know, we're listening to Rush and everything is just about, you know, the planes crashing in, you know, to the Twin Towers. And then my entire day at school, like literally, you know, they rolled it, like this is back in the day, they rolled in the TVs into the classroom and literally all we watched was the news all day long of like what was happening. And I would say like that really impacted me as an individual. And that's, you know, although like wanting to serve was something that I always wanted to do, I just don't really like being told what to wear. So like I was doing a lot of things like within the community, you know, I know that really impacted my brother. My brother always wanted to serve. And so, so yeah, so like I went down this whole like career exploration of going into law enforcement and possibly the military. But again, I don't really like being told what to do. So that didn't really happen. But here I am, you know, now like several years later, like decades later, and still being able to give back to the veteran community, those that have served, and really trying to advocate for those, especially for our post 9/11 veterans, because they have like a very different set of needs as those that weren't in combat. And so I really want to be able to help like support them, you know, in a very in a way in which is fitting for them.
Speaking of that, where is your brother at right now?
Boohoo, he's in Naples. I mean, he could technically be somewhere else, but like he's technically stationed in Naples. Prior to that, he was in Bahrain for several years. But yeah, I mean, he's been like jet setting. He's attached to NATO, so he's like been jet setting all across Europe. I was like, oh, boohoo, I feel so bad for you with all of his like social media posts. And I'm like, okay, please.
Yeah. It's rough over there. It's totally rough.
It's rough in Europe, you know. He's
Yeah.
like been doing all this stuff in Norway and like Germany. He was in Mallorca for like over a week. You know, his boss told him to take the month of August off. And I was like, oh, wow, that must be nice.
Yeah, definitely. I know my nephew is in the Army right now. He's at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, and he was just told that he's getting ready to deploy in January. Can't really say where they're going. I mean, I know where they're going, but I can't really say where they're going for OPSEC reasons. Oh, hi, puppers.
Puppy.
Hi, puppers.
Say hi.
But yeah, so he's getting ready to deploy in January, and then I got a cousin who is stationed overseas right now, and I try to have him and some of his guys on the unit with his unit on the show, and the internet over there was so bad that it was like a 15-second delay. So we would ask the question, and then 15 seconds later, we would hear ourselves talking, and then they would answer the question. It was a really hard.
wow.
Yeah, it was really hard to do a interview with somebody in country with the Wi-Fi that they got
Of
over
course.
there. So,
Yeah, I remember those old morale phones that we had in
oh yeah,
Afghanistan. Bro, you would have to. So you would dial your homeboy like in Europe, or like they'd give you a number to call in Europe, and then they would transfer you to like the quarterdeck of like a command or something like that, and then they would dial you out to whatever phone you needed. So,
so we had the cell phones that you'd have to buy. So when we pulled into port, we had the cell phones that you'd have to buy an international phone card, and then
Oh,
then we could
Jesus.
call home. But we had to rent those out from whoever was right there on port. It was
well,
weird.
too. Yeah, we had
Yeah,
those
those
too,
are
but the ones where you have to call like this number to call this number, where they'll just call forwarding you all the way to the number. That there was like a whole bunch of booths, but we didn't always have them available. So yeah, we also have the cell phone, and you could also like it depends where you're at. But I remember being able to buy like a little server, and then you get like a phone card, and then you could use that server. It was kind of weird, but man,
Yeah.
you would have to wait 10 seconds, 10 to 15 seconds after every time you spoke something. You remember that like that
Yep.
whole entire
if you were lucky,
yeah.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
sometimes it was ongoing, and then so when I joined in boot camp, AT&T, uh, they came and they're like, "Hey, you're gonna need to have this prepaid phone card anyways. Might as well open it up with us. We'll give you these extra credits, so that whenever you're actually deploying, you can use it. It's gonna be cheaper. Have a monthly fee of whatever it was. It was like $10-20 a month, but you're gonna be able to have this amount of minutes that are gonna pile up, and then you can use them for the rest of your career." And that lasted, but maybe about the first 3 years because I never used it. And then the one time that I did try to use it, because I remember to take it with me on deployment, it was like all of my minutes were gone just from trying to use it on the ship. And I was like, nope, not doing this ever again.
Mm. Now, what kind of dog is that one, Megan? Is it a French?
Yeah, he's an old guy though. He's an OG. He's 10 years old. He's not like one of those new designer Frenchies.
Nice. Yeah, my sister-in-law just got a French bulldog.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's actually gonna go to the vet tomorrow. He hasn't been doing so good lately. Both my dogs are
Oh
seniors.
no.
So my
Aw.
female pit bull that you saw on screen, she's 11 and a half. So she's in a lot of pain. So she's like on a glucose, antibiotic, and painkiller regimen every day. So
She sounds like me.
That's fair.
Because I got a knee replacement coming up in October the 22nd. I'm 46 years old and gotta get both my knees replaced.
oh, look at that little one
Aw.
right there. Is that a golden retriever lab?
It's a golden retriever, but it's a
Is an Irish one?
it's a English cream.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
My aunt and uncle have one. Oh, and then
Here.
I see another one. What is that?
Yeah, you said another
That's
one.
a rat.
A
Oh,
rat.
I don't think that dog appreciates being called a rat.
It's a rat.
I'm sure that one loves you more than the other one does.
Oh, I guarantee.
Look at this. No, it's a rat. It's literally the bane of my existence. My dog, it's a wiener dog with mini Australian Shepherd.
Oh, okay.
That's
I had
an
an Aussie growing
unusual
up.
breed.
Mm-hmm.
What do they call that breed? A Heinz 57?
Wassy.
It's a Heinz 57.
Oh. Kind of looks
Aw.
like it's got a beagle in it too.
Yeah, it
From
looks
the
like a little
target.
bit of a beagle.
She hugs me. but she eats
See?
everything.
Oh, okay.
She eats. I'm nice to her. No, you're not
Moose
looking in
says
my
hi.
face.
Moose says hi.
I would get my dogs down here, but they wouldn't sit still long enough.
Yeah.
I'm down in the bunker, and I ain't gonna go back upstairs to get them. So not gonna happen. We have huh?
So let me ask you this. I wanna go back a little bit into the you talking conversation therapy. I want to dive a little bit more into that.
Okay. What do you want to know?
So you do it consistently. How did you get started? What was the triggering point of getting you started to that?
So I've been in veteran charity world since 2004 when I got out. Started out volunteering with different organizations. We'd go in rehab homes and give it to homeless veterans with Operation Victory. Started, handing out food to homeless veterans down in downtown Louisville. And I was starting a project because I'm the president of AT&T Veterans Kentucky, which is a national AT&T Veterans is a national 501c3 for anybody who works at AT&T. And during Operation Victory, we started seeing the tiny home communities that were being built in Kansas City, the ones in Las Vegas, and other areas. And I was like, we need something like that here in Kentucky. And so we started that process, and I got involved with a couple of my last veteran service organization I got involved with. I took that project with me to there. And the founder of that organization slowly pushed me out of my own project that I brought to them, and started taking credit for for the ideal of the tiny home community. And when I resigned in 2020, I was like, well, I need to do something, and I resigned and told them that I was going to start a podcast. And so I bought all the equipment. I bought the cameras, the microphones, the computer, everything, because I just had a laptop at the time, a little Chromebook, and so I got a refurbished computer and microphones and everything off of Amazon, and it sat down here in the bunker for about a year and a half. Because I was procrastinating, but I was also real down on myself because I left the organization that
There you go.
it meant a lot to me because we did equine therapy, we did bullets and barbecue, we did a little bit of everything. I mean, it was a really great organization. Unfortunately, me and the the founder did not get along. We didn't see eye to eye on things, and so I got I got down in my feels, like I did something wrong, like I was to blame for me leaving. And it took me a little while to get through, work through that. And I had talked about doing a podcast, so I was researching what other veteran podcasters were doing. And what I noticed was they were bringing in veterans and letting veterans tell their stories. And I was like, oh man, that's pretty neat. But what I noticed were that the majority of them, none of them focused on veteran service organizations that were out there helping veterans. They would bring in, Wounded Warrior. They would bring in Mission 22. They would bring in the big name ones, but they wasn't bringing in the regional mom and pop grassroots ones. So when I decided to do the podcast, I said, all right, that's going to be our niche. That's what we're going to focus on. We're going to focus on the grassroots ones. And we did. We started with people that I knew, like people like with Rocco with Camp Hero, Kentucky, or Cassie Kaywood from Dogs Helping Heroes, and a lot of the local ones that I knew of. And it's slowly, well, I don't even want to say slowly because it took off like wildfire. And we were doing, so we started out doing one a week on Sundays. We would record the episode, then we would release it on Tuesday. And then I met Rich from Misfit Nation, Rich LaMonica,
Yes.
and he's like, hey man, you probably need to go to a video podcast. And he goes, I utilize StreamYard. And I was like, oh, cool. So I started researching it, and every time I had a question, I would call Rich, and he'd say, well, this is what you need to do, blah, blah, blah. And if you look at our earlier podcasts, you can see our evolution, how we change. Because like right now, you guys have just the Mill to Vet logo up in the corner. Well, if you watch one of our shows now, we at the bottom it says at Home Heroes Media Group, at Veterans Voice Radio, at Military United Podcast Streams, and it's got all kinds of stuff on the screen with our layovers and stuff that we put on, and it's we progressed, and we got to the point where we were doing 2 a week, every Sunday, Monday, and we got. Am I still here? Or are you there?
No, you're still here. Give me 1 second. Ah,
No, you're
I was
good.
trying to
You're
do
good.
that. I was trying
No,
to do that.
no, you're good. So it got to the point where we were doing 2 a week, and I had some people come in and say, "Hey, you need to do more episodes." So I decided to add Tuesdays and Thursdays. So we were doing 4 episodes a week. So we were doing Sunday, Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, and I had a couple guys come in, Donald Dunn and Brandon Cooper. I had them come in, and they were going to help run the Tuesdays and Thursdays because for me, working a full-time job at AT&T and then coming home and doing all my social media stuff, creating the flyers for our upcoming guest, and doing the Opus clip and stuff like that.
Bro, that's so time consuming,
It
man.
is, it's very time consuming. So my whole
So
point
time consuming.
with uh, doing the extra episodes, I was like, I need somebody that could run those for me because I didn't have time for it. And plus, my wife would kill me if I did extra ones that would take away from family time, because family always comes first. And because she was mad when I added a second day on our normal rotation, and um, it just, like Chris said, I heard him talking about it. We got on the feed spot list, and somebody told me about it, and they're like, "Oh, you're listed on this list." And when I first found out about it, we were number 27, and I was not expecting to be that high on any list because we were relatively new, still new at the time, and so we were on the list, and we slowly started creeping up, and the highest, I think, at one point we were number 12 out of the top 100. And um doing the podcast, I've got to meet a lot of great people along the way, like Rich LaMonica, Oscar Mike Radio with Travis Partington, Every Day's a Saturday with Brian Roof, Chris with Milda Vets, now you, Yogi, which I've seen y'all's stuff. The only one I've actually talked to was Chris, and conversations with the vet with Carol Lee. She's a mom of 2 Marines. The Oath We Took podcast with Tab Bartley, and
Yes.
these are all people that we've brought into the fold of Tip of the Spear, which we were talking about earlier, which we do once a month on Wednesday, the last Wednesday of the month. But I got into doing podcasting because it helps me. It's my therapy. And the more I talk about my story and my journey with the VA, because I just started my journey with the VA at the middle of last year, so I'm not even rated from the VA yet. I'm in that process,
Oh
uh,
wow.
which is a painstaking process, let me tell you. And
Yeah.
I can see why a lot of veterans don't file for the VA benefits, because it's so hard. They make it so hard. Now, like with you guys, when you got out of the military, were you guys already transitioned to the VA already?
So
In full disclosure,
yeah.
I'm still in. I
Okay, you're still in.
just got my final date, which is gonna be for everybody that's here listening. It's the first time that I shared in public. It's gonna be September 29th. That's my last day in the Navy.
Nice. Well,
And
congratulations.
then thank you. And for everybody that has already known us, so I've been going the last 2 years to the medical board,
Okay.
and it has been very, very difficult, um, because it's been not only going through the VA process. But you're having that process that you're going through. You're also having the process of the PEBLOS. You're also having the process of the um, medical providers here on base, alongside of having to deal with the chain of command. Um, and all of those things, they should be working in conjunction with one another,
They don't.
congruently. They don't.
Yeah.
And in reality, uh, the biggest thing that, and that's kind of what started this podcast in the first place, or one of the things was that if for me and Chris, right, that we've been around the block for a couple years, right? If it was this difficult of a process for us, how is it for the E1, the E2, the E3, or the anyone under 5 years of service? Not even that, just anyone in reality that was. I'm at 22, so I don't have to worry about that process. When this process started, I was already at 20, so that was a huge thing that I didn't have to worry about. But anyone that is under 20 and they're not gonna be able to make it to the retirement, it is an absolute nightmare on top of having to do the process itself. One of the biggest things that I ran into is that it's all about let's get you out as fast as possible,
Yeah.
right? And that is I've seen that many veterans don't get the things that they need, um, because if the command is trying to rush them to get out, if the medical officers that they're seeing, they're trying to rush them to get out, the process itself is like hurry up, get out, get out, get out. Um, then you just get out, right? And then later on, you regret the fact that you signed on the dotted line that yes, you accepted whatever percentage that it was because you just were in such a rush to get out and start off your career.
Yeah.
So I say all that because even though it's been a huge um, process, and at times I literally cried myself to sleep. Um, there were the end result has been great, so I have nothing to. That part has been good. I also was able to get started in the voc rehab. As a matter of fact, they were joking earlier because I was literally taking my first, or actually my third class, right? Um, and as we were doing this, right? So because this has had already been in the books for 2 months, and I just got signed up for school literally last week. I'm not even technically I'm enrolled, but I'm not processed through because my VRNE hasn't fully kicked in. It's tomorrow's gonna be the day that everything is finalized so that I can officially do everything. So I'm in this limbo again, but it's working. So for anyone that is out there, I know you talked a little bit about GI Bill, but the VRNE program, if you don't know about it, you need to know about it. You need to share it with everyone because it is an amazing program, um, meant to help every one of us veterans get the training that we need and then the job placement at the end of the day.
Yeah. So when I got out, there was no, hey, let's get you VA ready or any of that.
Right.
So now, 20 years later, I'm going through the process of getting rated and getting enrolled into the VA and seeing my primary care doctor, getting a therapist. And uh, it literally is a painstaking ordeal for veterans that have been out for a while. Like I know within the last 3 months, we had uh, four Vietnam era vets that never applied for VA benefits going through the process as well now. And it's just like, holy cow. And Ryan says here he retired 9.5 years ago, and I have to say the VA process has gotten easier. Yeah, it definitely
Yeah,
has gotten easier now because
definitely has.
a lot of times now when Marines or sailors or Army guys get out, they're already rated with the VA. They already have a rating, so that they don't miss a beat. It's boom, you're out. You get a paycheck 2 weeks later or whatever, and your VA benefits are already kicked in. Like me, I had to start the process, file a letter of intent, do all these damn doctor's appointments that I'm still fighting now, and hopefully I'll get rated. It could be, I mean, I'm sitting at 6 7 months now, and I got a letter yesterday stating that they're still working on processing my claim, and they're sorry it's taking so long. So,
Right.
but to fight for things to like me, um I don't remember some of the guys that I served with. Like one of my deployments, we were in I want to say we were either we were in, I want to say we were in friggin' Greece. We were in Thessaloniki, Greece, and Lance Corporal Wolf was driving the Humvee, and we were in the back in the troop carrier area. So we had the big high back with the canvas sides, troop strap across the back, and he decided he was going to go really fast in the creek.
Oh
And
no.
when he hit the rocks, me and the guy across from me fell out of the back of it and landed into the creek on our heads, and I was knocked out for 2 minutes. So I probably had a TBI, but we didn't report it because Lance Corporal Wolf, his daddy was a full bird colonel in the Marine Corps, and he probably would have gotten in trouble with the Marine Corps. With our chain of command plus his father, so we were like, let's just keep it under wraps. And we didn't talk about it. Well, now for me to go and get diagnosed as a TBI from then, which was in 2000, I don't remember. I couldn't even tell you who the guy across from me was. Like, I can't remember. I could picture his face, but I can't tell you what his name was. And I can't tell you who
So
else was in the Humvee other than the driver. Well, to get a buddy letter, I have to start finding people that I served with that were in that Humvee with me that remembers what happened. Well, the driver passed away 3 years ago. So
Mm.
I can't go call to him and say, "Hey, I need you to write me a buddy letter because he passed away." And I'm just trying to figure, all of that out. So
man,
My
that's rough.
understanding is that at least when you file the claim for your disability, like rating, like to increase it, is that it is retroactive. So when they do end up finding in your favor with the disability rating, that you will end up getting, that increase. Is that correct, Yogi and Chris? That's my understanding.
I'm not 100% sure on that because I think some of them could be like a secondary, but if there's like you have a 0 rating when you first got out
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and they could tie it to that 0 rating, then I believe that may be true, but I'm not an expert. But I know that the website that we were showing, you go to va.gov, you find a VSO that's actually in there. You just go to va.gov, search VSO, you'll find a list of VSOs. They will actually be able to give you a better answer than I can. So,
And another reason why I would hesitate to give that kind of blanket advice is because it's all on a case by case basis, right?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also why the VSO is so crucial because the VSO not only can see what Will or whoever is actually helping Will submitted, what the comments in the background from the VA representatives are, and then whatever paperwork that may or may not be missing, to be able to tie all those things together to actually help it move forward efficiently. Um, oh,
So, all right. So I filed my VA paperwork, right?
Mhm.
and I get a letter in the mail saying, "We received your paperwork, but we need copies of your DD-214s." Tell me why in the hell the VA would need a copy of my DD-214? Don't they have that? So I had to send both copies of my DD-214, and then they're like, "Well, we need more information on your PTS. What's causing your PTS?" They got access to my medical records. Why can't they just pull my medical records?
Because
But
they
no,
don't want it to be easy.
right. So I had to sit down here, write all that down on this form that they sent me, and I had to relive what
Yeah.
I went through
Mhm.
in 1999. And I'm like,
Mhm.
so I'm writing down, we were in Port-au-Prince, Haiti. We were on QRF, Quick Reaction Force. We were going through the marketplace. I seen a guy that had a tire on top of him that was burning, and he was screaming at the top of his lungs, and we were told we couldn't interfere. Then I had to write the other part where there was a guy being drugged behind a vehicle with comm wire wrapped around his neck as they were
Ugh.
driving down the street, and we couldn't interfere. And then I had to write there. We were guarding at the front gate of one of the bases, and a vehicle pulled up. There was 3 gentlemen in there with their left hand cut off, blood spurting out everywhere. Had to write all that down, and it's just like, don't you have that information already in my file? Because you requested my records from my therapist. You have that information. I mean, in there in his little notebook, he wrote he has chronic PTS from his service.
Well, I would
And
think that that's where all this like different government like software information platforms like come in, that like they're not like interconnected. And so like they're asking you to like relive like all this like these experiences that you had during your military service. And it's like, like especially I would imagine that you have some form of PTSD, right, from these experiences, as because you're talking about it with your therapist, right? And
yep,
so, like, why aren't all of these like interconnected? Like what you're saying, like why are you having to put this on a form and refill this out and having to provide this information when they should already have that? And hopefully, like as we continue to like move through these sort of like experiences and challenges like within like the veteran community, that they're able to like just make it a lot more streamlined,
yeah,
but it's government, so I can't really say that it's actually going to be more streamlined. It's just
yeah.
like a hope, right?
Well, I
Well,
mean, a lot of
well,
veterans now, or a lot of transitioning military members now, um, they're already, like I said, they're already VA rated by the time they get out of the service, so they don't have to relive it. But me, I've been out since 2004, and I'm just now going through the process. So I have to, unfortunately, I have to, like Veteran Lighting says there, we have to relive that situation. And
well,
there's stuff that I don't even really want to talk about. I don't even talk about it with my wife.
I'm gonna
How come?
share with you
Mhm.
that it's not just that process, right? Um, I'm not even out yet, right? They literally have all of my records in front of their face,
Yeah.
and I had to relive it over and over and over again with every single medical professional doctor that I saw. There was 2 professional doctors that, since I'm still in, I won't give him a shout out just yet. However, once I do fully retire, I will give him a shout out for the amount of great help that they have provided, and to not re-traumatize me, right? So it's not. I don't want it to get only bashing the process or the thing, right? But it's a huge culture when it comes to just not really being able to dig into it. Another thing that I do want to add to that is that I was able to be here during the governor's challenge with the VA, and I was able to listen to the people that are actually trying to make a change. And one of the big things that they are also frustrated about is that they don't have a lot of the records, right? And it's not because that they don't want them; it's that they literally have no access to them. One of the things that they struggle with, and which to me it makes no sense, right? And it was brought up by many of the organizations, including San Diego Veterans Coalition, that was asking the question: is like, hey, if you already have, as a government entity, you already have my entire um, my entire life, my entire record. You have the list of every veteran that has ever served. Why is it that I have to go to the VA, the one place where you're supposed to already know who I am, and I have to prove with beyond the shadow of a doubt that I am who I say I am, that I served, that I did all these things? Why can't it be a seamless um, record? And it's because they're two different entities.
Mm-hmm.
Once we get out, our record gets shipped and mailed off to the repository and essentially forgotten about, right? And then they don't get a copy of any of that to the VA.
Yeah. Well, even so, like you go through the VA to you start getting the process of the VA. Well, the people that rate you is a whole different entity than the
Yes,
people that are seeing you. So they have to, you go to the VA, do your doctor's appointments and stuff through the VA, uh,
yes.
and then you go get rated. They're like, oh well, we need access to this information. So yes, you still have to give them permission to get your medical records and stuff like that. And I just don't understand why the VA can't rate you. And I really don't understand VA math either because you
Nobody
can
does.
do yeah, you can get 200% and then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, well, you're rated at 70%." And it's like, "Well, your math ain't mathing, bro." So, and then yeah, Ryan says, "I just got diagnosed for PTS for things that I experienced from service back in the early 90s, so I can relate." Yeah, it's I mean, it's really hard when you go through the VA system and I'm not knocking the VA because I've heard great stories about VA experience. Going through the process of getting rated or seeing the doctors and stuff. And then I've heard some really bad experiences of going to the VA. So luckily for me, I live close enough to a metropolitan area. Louisville, Kentucky is where I go to the VA at, and um, it, it it hasn't been bad, but
Wait, hold on. I got to put a pause on that. You're telling me Kentucky is considered metro?
well, Louisville, just the city of Louisville. It's the 16th largest city in the United States. So that Louisville itself is considered a metropolitan. Uh, maybe not.
I guess you can't.
Yeah, the two largest city in Louisville is Lexington and Louisville. So, um, yeah, it just it's crazy going through the VA. And I knew I talked to Veteran Lighting before.
So
With
Joe
Christopher Raymond.
Arnold, yeah,
Yeah,
Joe
yeah,
Arnold is part of the One Hundo Club.
yep,
Uh,
yep. With
him
Christopher
and
Raymond.
Chris
Yep,
Raymond, yeah, amazing people. We work with
and
them
Mr.
all the
Finch.
time. Mr. Finch, yes, amazing people, amazing group organization. They've been part of the show. They all share their story, their why, and essentially what they're doing, right?
Yep.
And they have great um,
Yeah, what
vision
Hundo
of being able to make a change.
Yeah, what Hundo Club is doing is amazing. If you go to their website, Homefront Sit Rep, my podcast is listed as their go-to podcast when it comes to veteran service organizations from around the country. So Christopher Raymond and Mr. Finch are pretty amazing. And I want to say when I had Christopher on, I think I had Joe Arnold on as well, and somebody else from the organization. Mr. Finch was supposed to come on, but something came up and he wasn't able to join at that time. But yeah, Hundo Veteran Hundo Club is amazing. What they're doing within Hundo Club has never been done in the veteran service world. With the Rolodex of business, veteran business owners, veteran lawyers, and stuff like that. Hundo Club is doing amazing things. So I can't say enough about what they do. So, but yeah,
Correct.
but going through back to the VA and getting rated and all of that, it's easier nowadays than it was when I got out, when you were transitioning out. So
Yeah. And I do want to say there's a lot of conversation saying that we are in the veterans helping veterans or the veteran era, um, which
Service
is a lot
provider.
better. Yes, which is a lot better, obviously, than our predecessors, which were in the Vietnam, right? And we got we gotta thank them a lot for everything that they fought and gained to be able to get us to where we're at right now. If it wasn't for them, honestly, we would still be struggling even more with a lot of the things that we're doing. So no, it's a good time. There's a lot of challenges still that we have to face. There's a lot of things that we still got to move forward and do, but
Mhm.
you know, it's a good thing.
So I want to answer Ryan Burns's question. He says, I have heard that, yeah, that one right there. I've heard that out your way, the VA does 1-day disability clinics where you can file and have a CMP exam and even get rated in 1 day. If that's the case, I haven't seen it at all. I haven't even heard of it.
That sounds
So
like a magical unicorn. I would like to.
It,
I'd like to
it's
see this thing.
probably it's probably dependent on where you live too,
Yeah.
Right.
and it's probably like you said, like wishing on like rainbows and unicorns at
right.
the same time.
That's like finding the pot of the gold at the end of the rainbow.
Woo! We're gonna be rich.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So
Because
if we can make
I just
that
don't-
happen, if we can make that happen, come on.
Go buy a lottery ticket. And
Yes.
then win
If we can make that
afterwards.
happen, let's buy a lottery ticket today.
Hey Ryan,
because-
thanks for asking all these questions, brother. That
Yeah.
means a lot. Like that's some solid. You said good information, even better questions. I love it.
yeah,
Mhm.
for sure. But yeah, I'm gonna look into it. I haven't heard of it, but I'm gonna look into it and see if there is a such thing. Now, also, I want to get back to your point about veteran service officers. So we have Kentucky Department of Veterans Affairs, which is for the state of Kentucky. So when I was getting ready to start my VA journey, I called KDVA and said, "Hey, I need to know who my veteran service officer is for my county because they have VSOs for each county." So I called KDVA. They gave me my veteran service officer's number. So I called, left a message, and I waited and waited and waited. No call back. I was like, all right, let me try to call again. So I called back. Said, hey, my name's David Willis. I'm a Marine Corps veteran. Getting ready to start my VA journey. I've been out since 2004. Waited. Still no call back. And then randomly, probably a week later or something, I finally did get a call back. This is after I gave up and went somewhere else, and finally did get a call back. The lady says, well, tell me a little bit about your service. I said, well, I got out in 2004. I need to start my VA journey of getting, rated. And she's like, well, I can't help you. And I'm like, what do you mean you can't help me? You're the veteran service officer. You're supposed to help me start my claim, start all of this. She goes, no, you've been out too long. I can't help you. So
Oh wow.
I hung up the phone with her, and luckily I knew the commissioner of KDVA, the man in charge that was appointed by the governor to run the Kentucky Department of Veterans Affairs. And I said, Commissioner Adams, can you tell me why my veteran service officer can't help me start my claim with my VA benefits and stuff like that? He goes, well, she should be able to help you. I was like, well, I just got off the phone with her and she told me she couldn't help me. And he went off. Because when I mentioned Operation Victory, he's part of that. Like he hit the Kentucky Department of Veterans Affairs is part of that. That's how I met him. And literally his coin is that one right there, and the third one down. That's his coin that he handed me, and he handed my daughter at the time, who was 12. Handed her one of his coins as well. So I've known him for quite a little while, and he was not very happy that one of his veteran service officers was saying that they couldn't help a veteran start the process of their VA journey. So not all VSOs are good.
Yes.
You want to find one like at the DAV, Disabled American Veterans. You go find a VSO there, or get recommendations from the veteran community in your area, because I'm sure that they're going to know of a good veteran service officer, because not all the ones that work at the Department of Veterans Affairs is going to be good.
Speaking of
So,
that, audience, if you know of any good VSOs, please, please, please add them onto the chat. Call them out. They deserve the recognition for all the hard work that they're doing. That goes usually unappreciated, right? Because they're not getting paid for anything. They're just there to literally assist. At a bare minimum, the least that we can do is get them recognized for the hard work that they do, and they're doing it because they're passionate and they want to help us.
so I got one here that I'm going to throw in chat.
Whoop,
Yeah.
whoop.
Throw them in the
As
chat.
soon as I go to their page, let's see.
Actually, I'll also throw one in the chat too. I actually just made a post on Pacific Northwest vets. Pretty good group. So I'll share that in the thread too.
Yeah, here we go. Let's see. I know they got a. I'm gonna throw their website out as soon as it pops up here. Yeah.
So in the meantime, while these resources are getting populated, for anyone that is in the San Diego veteran or San Diego area, the San Diego City College Veterans Service Center, it is an amazing place to be at. I have walked into many organizations that claim to help, and they're just claim to help. However, the San Diego City College Veterans Service Center, it is absolutely amazing. Not only are you welcomed, they're extremely helpful. They talk to you, they help you figure out what you need in order to get your GI Bill process and or your whatever chapter services that you're needing to. And also, they reach out to the counselor, whoever's in charge of your process, to be able to make the process even smoother. I cannot say anything but great things about them. I'm extremely happy and grateful that I was able to walk into that place and get the help that I needed.
Hey Yogi, I put it in private chat because it wouldn't let me connect it to the chat. It says this comment has failed to post, so I put it in private.
Awkward.
I don't know why. Like, I'm connected to it. I just don't know why it won't let me.
Oh, it's only showing the website.
Yeah,
Is
that's
that
what I.
correct?
Yeah, that's what I.
Perfect.
Yeah, like I went to put it in the regular
Understood.
chat section and it wouldn't let me. So that's cmpgarage.org. They're in Vine Grove, Kentucky, and they do a really amazing job of getting veterans their benefits. And then there's also, yeah, we've seen yours too, Megan. Your chat there in private. There's also Homefront Sit Rep has a uh, Ask Monica. We got a segment on Homefront yeah, can't even talk. Homefront Sit Rep called Ask Monica. She's down in Florida. Her husband was in the Marine Corps, lieutenant colonel. She was a a key wife. They've been married for 35 years. So you can email askmonica0@gmail.com and ask questions with your VA disability and stuff like that. Even if you want a second opinion, she can help you. She's the one that does the CMP exams and stuff like that. So she's she's a doctor of nursing. She's pretty badass. So that's askmonica0@gmail.com.
Perfect. And then we got the other one, and then we got from Chris, Pacific Northwest Aaron Juarez, Veteran Service Officer. The phone numbers this will also be in the chat later on. And then this one. And then we are going to perfect.
And people can add me on Facebook too if you want. You can go to my private page, which is David Willis Jr., or you can go to Homefront Sit Rep, and we have a private group and a public group as well. If you want to follow me, and I'm always sharing stuff as well. But yeah, I agree, Yogi, with what you just put in private chat, because it's 11:42 my time, and I have to be back up.
Perfect.
Right. So
Yeah.
Well,
Same
community,
here.
Mill to Vet family, the new Scuttlebutt. Thank you, Will. Thank you for joining us. Everybody out there that is listening and has been a part of this, thank you for joining us. Thank you for engaging. And let's keep on growing. Let's keep on sharing the resources and helping our brothers and sisters out there.
Yes, 100%.
definitely.
It was such an awesome time to have you on here, hanging out with us, brother. Thanks for coming on.
Yes.
Well, thanks for inviting me, and I really needed it tonight because it was a rough day. So thanks for
Yes.
letting me come on.
Well,
Yeah,
thanks
you
for
know-
coming on.
Thank
Well,
you.
Thank you.
So, all right, guys. Hey,
Hey, Chris,
or
before I go,
what's up,
make
Warrior?
sure, make sure you so the last Wednesday of this month, make sure Yogi gets an invite to the Tip of the Spear.
Can we invite Megan?
Sure.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
you go. That's
Yeah.
right
So
there, right
it'll
there.
be
Yes.
it'll be 7 p.m. Eastern. It'll be 7
You're right
p.m.
there.
Eastern on Wednesday. What is the last Wednesday? So it'll be the 28th. So next week on the 28th at
Next
7
week.
p.m. Eastern. So if you're in California, that would be what, 4 o'clock? You're
Yes.
3 hours
Oh, I'm
behind me.
Washington
Yeah.
State, bro. Hey, no Cali.
Well, I know
Washington
Megan's
State.
in Cali, so
So is Yogi.
So is the other
so
one.
there you go. But you're all still 3
We're
hours
on the
behind
left
me.
coast. We're on the
Yes.
left coast.
Yes,
So
you're on the left coast. Not the
we're all
right
in
coast, but the
states.
left coast.
The left coast, and we're all in states where we're fruits and nuts.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
And if your listeners want to follow Homefront Sit Rep and see what we got some great shows coming up. We've had Marine Corps rapper Theory on, who just signed with Big Homie Records out in Utah. We had Scotty Hastings, who's an Army veteran that was shot 10 times, who just had his debut on the Grand Ole Opry. And if you know anything about country music or music in general, the Grand Ole Opry is the pinnacle. He's got a song called How Do You Choose? When you listen to that song, make sure you have tissues. It's about survivor's guilt because he was shot 10 times in combat and came home, and his best friend didn't come home. So he wrote that song about his best friend. And plus all of the veteran service organizations that we've had on the show. It's the mom and pops are what we look for. So
Yeah, bro. Like, thank you for coming on here, man. And
it's my pleasure.
And bro, you know I'm going to be supporting your stuff over and over and over again.
Yes, sir.
Because
Appreciate
that's what we do, man. We help each other.
That's what we
out.
do. Yeah, right. It takes a village.
It does. It does. Hey, everybody that's out there, like, take a look at the news. You got it. I need your help. If there's one thing that you could do, is share those news articles. That way we could get more reach, get more veterans' ears, so that way they could hear these stories. They could hear Scuttlebutt. They could hear what Mildevets bring and talk about transition, so that way they can reintegrate into the community. So please share those. It's a quick little snippet of what's going on in our community. Service members, you should probably be paying attention to some of this. So that way, when you end up becoming a veteran, because you're going to become a veteran one way or another, you'll know what to expect. Remember, it's not all rainbows and unicorns out there.
It's not?
Nope, it's not.
Okay.
It could be
Take
cougars
charge
though.
of your, take
Could be
charge of it, you know?
It could be a cougar,
All right, bro.
right? If you went to Capistrano
Yeah.
Valley High School.
Cougar.
You got to do the roar.
No. You're just trying to get your video to do that thing. I know you're doing.
Oh hell.